everyone. I don't think there's all right. Good evening, everyone. This is a live test for PPD Pinas, and we're going live on three different platforms all at once. We're going live on Facebook, and we are going live on TikTok and on YouTube as well. Right? So, tatlong destinations yan. So, siguro naman isa dyan maganda. Uh, anyway, hold on. I forgot to turn on my light and let's see what it looks like. There you go. Too bright. Too bright. There you go. All right, that light is better. And so good evening everyone. At nandito tayo ngayon para pag-usapan yung mga bagay-bagay patungkol sa halalan about recent developments, especially now that tapos na yung ating filing of COCs. Can you guys let me know how my audio is like? Is it good? Is it working? Can you hear me? That sort of shit. So, okay. So, anyway, uh, let me just start by saying that now that the COCs have been filed, uh, it's very important that the next step that the COMELEC needs to take is fully understood. Okay? Mahalaga na maintindihan natin kung ano yung next step ng COMELEC, especially since dyan usually nagkakaproblema. No? Dyan nagkakaproblema. Kasi syempre, alam nyo naman, maraming magpa-file, maraming gustong tumakbo. And let's just say na lahat yan, hindi ba violation yung mga nakapag-file na ng COC pero may mga TV ads pa ang bilis ng tanong ano. So yung first question again, this is something that I have to solve I guess at some point. Ang tanong niya, hindi daw ba violation yung nakapag-file na ng COC pero may mga TV ads pa rin? Unfortunately, my friend, kung sino man yun, hindi ko nakita kung sino gumawa. That's not a violation. Simply because of Peñera versus Comelec, no? Peñera versus Comelec, yan yung Supreme Court decision kung saan sinabi ng Supreme Court na um, pagkatapos ng filing, pwede ka pa actually mangampanya kasi hindi naman yan tinuturing na premature campaigning. Okay, hindi ganun ang pagkakasabi ng Peñera pero ganun yung pinaka-end result, no? Sabi kasi sa Peñera, pag nag-file ka ng COC, hindi ka pa matuturing na kandidato. And since kandidato lang ang pwedeng mangampanya, hindi ka nangangampanya, right? Number one. Number two, malinaw sa batas na lahat ng ipinagbabawal sa kandidato pwede lang ipagbawal sa start ng campaign period. Since after filing matagal pa ang campaign period, walang premature campaigning. So basically, RA 9369 in redefining a lot of things, including what happens after the filing of COCs, basically made it sure na walang crime na premature campaigning. Kaya yung sinasabi nyo na nakapag-file na pero nagpapalabas pa rin ng TV ads, that's totally allowed. That's perfectly allowed, right? Sabi ng Korte Suprema, sabi niya, naiintindihan namin kung ano yung magiging resulta ng ruling na 'to. Naiintindihan namin kung anong ibig sabihin nung aming, desisyon na payagan yung ginagawa 'no, na mangampanya after ng filing ng COC. Naintindihan namin 'yan, sabi ng Supreme Court, pero wala kaming magagawa dahil nakasulat sa batas yang ganyang klaseng ano, yang ganyang klaseng paraan. And, since malinaw yung batas, hindi natin puwedeng i-interpret, sabi ng, sabi ng korte. So ayun, so allowed pa rin 'yan, okey? So don't forget, kita mo 'yan ngayon, ba-bad trip tayo lahat kasi nga naman premature campaigning nga naman 'yan, pero legally speaking, technically speaking, walang krimen na premature campaigning kaya nakakalusot sila, okey? So balik ako dun sa sinasabi ko, merong 186 na nag-file ng COCs at napakarami niyan. So ano daw, medyo malabo yung batas na 'yan. Hindi medyo malabo, malabo talaga my friend. Ano ba last na file ni PRRD, mayor or senator? Ang pagkakaalam ko kay PRRD, he is running for mayor. Okay. Okay. Si Joms naman, violation po ba kapag ang mag-ama ay sitting chairwoman at kagawad ama? Wala, walang violation na ganyan. Walang violation. Tandaan niyo, ang may violation lang in terms of dynasty law ay yung mga SK. Kasi sa SK lang nag-a-apply yang anti-dynasty provisions na yan. Sa lahat ng ibang posisyon, walang anti-dynasty laws. Right? So yung sinasabi mo, mag-ama ay chairwoman at kagawad, wala yan, okey lang yan, di ba? Kaya nga napakaraming dynasty sa Pilipinas dahil pinapayagan yung ganyang klaseng sitwasyon. Anyway, so 186 filers ng COC, alam naman natin na hindi yan lahat seryoso. In fact, isa diyan, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, si Rastaman nag-file na naman. I mean, I like the guy. I like Rastaman. I enjoy the sense of humor that's inherent in his run for office. Pero let's face it, hindi kailanman matuturing na serious candidate yan, 'di ba? At kung hindi siya serious candidate, eh di paano na lang? Ah, so anong mangyayari sa kanya? Malamang sa hindi, made-declare siya na nuisance. And that's what I want to talk about today. Nuisance candidates. Ang nuisance candidates kasi, sorry, 184 pala filers. Ang nuisance candidates kasi, ang declaration of nuisance, masakit yan eh. Masakit marinig yan, no? And I've been with the COMELEC long enough to know na yung mga dinideklarang nuisance talagang dinadamdam yan in many cases, right? And yeah, I can understand why. In fact, one of my friends right now is running for office, and the fact that he's unknown, the fact na ngayon lang siya tumakbo, and the fact na wala siyang strong political affiliations, hindi siya part ng isang political party, and let's be honest, no one knows the guy, right? Even he feels the pressure of potentially being called a nuisance candidate. And again, like I said, I understand that. I understand. Naiintindihan ko yan. Pero kasi, meron nga tayong batas. Yung batas natin, yung Republic Act, sorry, not Republic Act, no? Hindi siya RA, BP 881 siya. BP 881. Okay. So, yung BP 881, ang tinutukoy niyan ay yung nuisance, Section 69 ng Omnibus Election Code refers to um, what they call nuisance candidates. So, bakit ba nagiging nuisance candidate ang mga tao? Right? Bakit nadedeklarang nuisance 'yan? Ang hirap naman nito, hindi ko mabasa yung mga text niyo. Okay. Okay, wait. Before we go into that, how about si Diwata as fourth nominee? Sa vendors party list, pwede ba first nominee ay contractors? Why not? Why not? Again, the vendors party list, if I'm not mistaken, is actually a political party at hindi siya isang, correct me if I'm wrong, alright? Correct me if I'm wrong. Ah, ang pagkakaalam ko ang vendors party list ay hindi naman sectoral party, kundi, political party. If it is a political party, then definitely walang problema having, contractors as vendors. If on the other hand, totoong sectoral party siya as in nag-apply siya to be a sectoral party and therefore it represents a marginalized and underrepresented group of Filipinos, it is possible that the vendors, the first nominees are contractors now, pero meron silang tangible connection to the sector that they are trying to represent. So for example, hindi ka kailangan maging security guard para mag-represent ng mga security guard. Pwede kang dating security guard na nag-graduate ka ng law, naging abogado ka, then nag-form ka ng political ng party list. Pwede yun. Kasi meron kang tangible connection to the industry. Kung ikaw ay hindi ka farmer, pero ikaw ay part ng family na matagal nang tumutulong sa mga farmers, na talagang nag-a-advocate yung family mo sa interest ng farmers, hindi yan mamasamain ng batas. The law will allow you to run as nominee for that party list, right? So, under these two theories, whether or not it was filed as a political party or as a sectoral party, mukha namang puwedeng makatakbo yung first nominee regardless of the fact that they are, contractors. Ah, meron po ba premature campaign? Wala na nga, sinagot na natin 'yan. How many votes needed to get at least one seat sa Congress para sa party list? AJB, I don't know yet because ang basis niyan is 2% of the total votes cast for the party list system. Okay? So, para malaman natin kung sino makakakuha ng 2 seats, unang-una natin kailangan malaman ay kung ilan bang boto ang nakuha ng party list system. And then you take 2% of that, yan yung guaranteed 1 seat. Okay? Puwede po ba ikulong ang tao hmm, kahit hindi na medical at hindi na aresto? Hmm? Hindi ko alam hindi ko naintindihan yung tanong, paki-klaro lang ha? Okay, puwede ba mag-file ng COC yung galing ng ibang district? Kaya lang kaka-transfer lang nung September 5 at pinag-filean niya. As long as pasok siya dun sa residency requirement nung lugar, nung posisyon na tinatakbo niya, then yes, puwede siyang tumakbo. Hindi na po ba puwedeng tumakbo si PRRD bilang presidente? Puwedeng-puwede, pero hindi naman tayo presidential elections ngayon. So, walang mangyayari diyan, 'di ba? Okey. Bakit ina-allow ang mga convict na, ah, once lang ba puwede maging president? No, hindi once lang puwede maging presidente. Puwede kang maging presidente ng paulit-ulit basta 'wag lang via re-election. Sabi ng Korte Suprema, ang re-election daw ibig sabihin nun, nakaupo ka dun sa puwesto na yun ta's tatakbo ka sa susunod na eleksyon para mabawi yung same position na yun. So, kaupo ka tapos yung susunod na eleksyon, 'di patapos na yung term mo, tatakbo ka ulit para ma-retain mo yung posisyon, yun daw ang bawal. Pero, sabi ng korte, allowed naman yung tumakbo ka, natanggal ka, or tapos yung term mo, whatever, or in ERAP's case, nag-resign siya, and then after someone else takes a turn as president, pwede ka namang tumakbo again, no? So hindi daw yun re-election, okay? But that's basically running again as a new election, right? Hindi na siya re-election. Kasi nga daw yung re-election ibig sabihin, ang implikasyon daw nun, hawak mo yung posisyon at gusto mo lang i-retain by running again at manalo ulit, 'di ba? So, puwede bang ang mag-asawa ay tumakbo like mayor lalaki at vice mayor? Oo nga, puwede nga. Wala nga kasing rule on dynasties, 'di ba? Ang rule on dynasties applies only to, the Sangguniang Kabataan System of Elections. Okay. Alright. So, balik tayo sa nuisance 'no. Sa nuisance, ang tinitingnan ngayon ang mangyayari kasi ngayon pagkatapos mag-file ng COC ng mga aspirant, ng mga gustong kumandidato, ang mangyayari ngayon ay titipunin ng Law Department ng COMELEC yung mga filing na yan, yung mga applications na yan, and then i-evaluate nila lahat yan isa-isa. So, if you're thinking about more than 14,000 people filing their COCs, well then yes, COMELEC will have to review all 14,000 plus COCs, no? It's not as difficult as it sounds, especially since yung 14,000 na yan, scattered yan throughout the country. Tandaan nyo, iba't ibang lugar ang pinagfa-filean natin ng COC. Pwede sa EO's office in certain cases, pwede sa regional director's office, and for the national positions, party list and senatorial, dito yan sa Maynila pina-file. So, um, yung ire-review, eh, yung nandun lang sa final sa lugar mo 'no. So, in the case of COMELEC, ah, Central dito sa main office, ang primaryling ire-review nila ay siyempre yung senatorial at party list nominations, right? But let's talk about the senatorial candidates, vis-a-vis the idea of nuisance candidates, right? So, okay. The idea of nuisance candidates, sabi sa Section 69 ng BP 881, sabi, "The commission may motu proprio on its own instance or upon a verified petition of an interested party refuse to give due course to or cancel a certificate of candidacy if it is shown that the said certificate has been filed, number one, to put the election process in mockery, ibig sabihin, gawing katatawanan yung ating eleksyon, number two, or to cause confusion among voters by the similarity of the names of the registered candidates. Ibig sabihin, 'pag merong kandidato nakapangalan na tumatakbo, it is possible na kung kilala yung isa or alam na lehitimong kandidato yung isa, tapos yung iba naman ay biglang sumulpot na lang tapos ginamit yung same name, eh, may tendensiya na magulo ang mga botante. So, in that case, puwedeng ma-filean ng kaso na nuisance yung bigla na lang sumipot na kapangalan kasi nga ang thinking mo diyan is naman, eh, kino-confuse lang yung taong bayan para lang manakaw yung boto ko. So, number two yun ano, number two. Number three, okay, number three, registered vote, okay. Or by other circumstances, acts which clearly demonstrate that the candidate has no bona fide intention to run for public office. Okay. That's the third ground, yung bona fide intention to run for public office. Yan yung dating ginagamit ng COMELEC bilang pinaka-catch-all provision 'no. Ibig sabihin, catch-all provision, ibig sabihin, kung hindi magkasya dun sa una, na hindi naman ang aasar lang ng sistema. Number two, hindi naman siya nanggugulo or hindi naman siya makakaagaw ng boto sa ibang tao. Well, baka nandun siya sa number three. Baka wala siyang intensyon tumakbo for office. Now, the fact that the law itself is very vague, okay? Very vague, hindi siya malinaw. Wala siyang binigay na standard para masabi kung ang isang tao ay merong bona fide intention to run for office or wala. Yan yung naging pinaka ginagamit ng COMELEC and dati bago nagkaroon ng mga desisyon ng Korte Suprema, ang sinasabi ng COMELEC, "Look, magastos mangampanya, magastos mangampanya. Uubos ka ng pera, uubos ka ng panahon, eh, kung wala kang pangtustos diyan sa kampanya mo, eh, hindi ka mananalo." And sabi ng COMELEC, and for sure alam mo naman 'yun. So kung alam mo na wala kang pera and alam mo rin na hindi ka mananalo 'pag hindi ka nangampanya, then for sure na part ano, in conclusion, then for sure, eh, wala kang seryosong intensyon tumakbo for public office. Baka nag-file ka lang para lang magpa-cute. Mag-file ka lang just to, you know, to fulfill a dare or something, whatever. Basta ang point, ang argumento ng COMELEC is, number one, alam mo na magastos mangampanya at na alam mo na 'pag hindi ka nangampanya, hindi ka mananalo. Number two, alam mong wala kang pera, so alam mong hindi ka makakapagkampanya and alam mong hindi ka 'pag hindi ka makakapagkampanya, malamang hindi ka mananalo. Therefore, malamang wala kang intensyon manalo, okey? So yun yung logic ng COMELEC 'no, yun yung logic ng COMELEC. Pero siyempre, in reality, pagdating sa decision to declare someone a nuisance, ang talagang nangingibabaw diyan, eh, parang sinasabi ng COMELEC, eh, kung wala kang pera, 'wag ka na tumakbo, 'no? They're not wrong in the sense that that is what the logic amounts to. Pero sabi ng Supreme Court, "Uy, boys, mali 'yan, mali 'yan." Okey? So, aabot tayo diyan, but let's look at the other jurisprudence muna. So, yung jurisprudence sa Supreme Court, basically, I'd like to focus on three cases, 'no? Una-una yung kay Pamatong in 2004, yung kay Marquez in 2019, and yung kay Marquez ulit, the same Marquez actually, in 2022. Yung kay Pamatong, diyan pinaliwanag ng korte kung bakit puwedeng ma-declare na nuisance yung mga kumakandidato. Kasi dati ang argument bago bago lumabas yung Pamatong, ang argument is everyone has the right to vote and be voted for, maliban na lang yung mga undergoing political penalties, 'no? But in general, a citizen of the Philippines will have the right to run and will have the right to vote and be voted for. So sabi ng challengers, eh, yun pala, eh, may right pala, eh. So bakit may authority ang COMELEC na pigilan ang pagtakbo ng mga tao? Good question, right? Good question. Pero ang sabi naman ng ano, sabi naman ng Supreme Court, eh, malinaw ang sagot ng Supreme Court. Sabi naman ng Supreme Court, oo nga, lahat nga merong ano, merong karapatan tumakbo. Pero, pero, there are some cases kung saan, there are some cases kung saan dahil hindi naman seryosong tumatakbo yung kandidato, keeping them on the ballot tends to distract the voters and tends to frustrate the selection process. Kasi ang binoboto mo hindi naman talaga mananalo, so sayang yung boto nung, botante, 'di ba? So, sabi ng Supreme Court, owing to the superior interest in ensuring a credible and orderly election, the state can exclude nuisance candidates and need not indulge in, as the saying goes, their trips to the moon on gossamer wings. Very poetic, but all they're saying, all the Supreme Court is saying is hindi kailangan pagbigyan ng COMELEC ang mga fantasies ng mga tumatakbo ng wala namang chance manalo. Kung tumatakbo ka, sabi ng COMELEC, at wala ka namang chance manalo, para ka lang, ah, para kang lumilipad sa buwan, 'di ba? Parang, short of saying na nagfa-fantasize ka lang, okey. So, ngayon ako, sa biglang tingin lang dun sa mga nag-file ng COCs kamakailan, I can name 2 or 3 or 10 people there who would fit that category, right? Who would fit that category. Yung mga talaga namang malabo talagang manalo pero tumatakbo lang kasi naaaliw sila sa idea ng pagtakbo or kilig na kilig sila na, "This is the first time I'm running. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the experience." That sort of thing, right? So, meron akong nakikitang mga gano'n and I'm willing to bet anything na magiging madideklarang luwasans 'yan. So again, in Pamatong, dun natin nakuha yung basis for saying na, yes, sometimes meron tayong matatanggal for being nuisance and it will not be offensive to the constitutional right to vote and be voted for. Okay. Ngayon, dun naman sa Marquez nung 2019, ang naging problema naman dun ay yung COMELEC nag-declare na si Marquez ay nuisance candidate on the ground of failure to prove his financial capacity. Okey, hindi kanya na sabi ng COMELEC hindi daw napatunayan na kaya namang tumakbo, so therefore nuisance ka. Galit ang Supreme Court. The Supreme Court disagreed and ruled that the COMELEC could not validly conflate the bona fide intention to run for office with financial capacity. Yan ang ibig sabihin. Big words, conflate. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo pwedeng pag-isahin, okay, yung dalawang magkahiwalay na issue, sabi ng Supreme Court. Hiwalay na issue yung bona fide intention to run for office at yung kawalan ng kakayanan tumakbo. Pagdating dun sa kawalan ng kakayanan tumakbo, sabi ng Supreme Court, teka, matagal na nating sinabi na hindi ka pwedeng maglagay ng property requirement sa pagtakbo. Hindi ka pwedeng magsabi na ang taong may ganitong karaming pera lamang ang pwedeng tumakbo. Bawal yan, ekis yan. Okay? So ngayon, pwede mo bang gamitin yung dahilan na yun na wala kang pera by saying na hindi siya ano wala siyang pera so therefore wala siyang bona fide intention to run for office. Bona fide intention simply means good faith intention to run for office. So diyan papasok yung sinasabi natin kanina na na kung wala kang pera, alam mo namang wala kang pera, alam mo rin na hindi ka mananalo 'pag hindi ka nangampanya, therefore, since alam mong wala kang pera, malamang yung pag-file mo ay hindi naman seryoso. Yun yung sinasabi natin. Sabi ng ano, sabi ng Supreme Court, mali yan, mali yan. Sabi ng Supreme Court, the freedom of the voters to exercise their elective franchise implies the right to freely choose from all qualified candidates for public office. Ibig sabihin, lahat. Kaya may pera, kaya wala, pwedeng tumakbo as long as qualified sila. Okay? So, walang kinalaman dapat ang ability ng tao to spend money. Alright. Linaw, di ba? Okay. Malinaw ba? So far. Malinaw so far. Okay. Yung pangatlong Marquez case, okay, ganun din. The same Marquez na-declare na namang nuisance. Oh my God. Pero iba na ngayon ang dahilan ng COMELEC. Nung una, noong 2019, sabi ng COMELEC, nuisance ka kasi hindi mo napatunayan na meron kang pera para makatakbo, which according to the court, amounted to a property restriction. Na kesyo wala kang pera, hindi ka pwede tumakbo and so on. Alright. Pero dito sa pangalawang kaso ng Marquez, iba naman ang sinabi ng COMELEC. Ang sinabi naman ng COMELEC, hindi ka namang kilala, eh. Alam the same logic, alam mong hindi ka kilala, alam mo na kailangan makilala ka ng tao para ka manalo, and since alam mong hindi ka kilala, therefore, hindi ka seryoso sa pagtakbo. Naku Diyos ko, ganyan ang Supreme Court. Facepalm ang Supreme Court. Again, mali na naman ang COMELEC sa usaping 'yan. Sabi ng Supreme Court, ang requirement ng bona fide intention to run for public office, um, na nasa-satisfy 'yan, okey, nasa-satisfy 'yan kapag tinanong mo yung ano, yung kandidato, nagtanong ka sa kanya kung seryoso ba talaga siya at napatunayan niya na seryoso talaga siya. Hindi niya kailangan ng mga ibang bagay, hindi niya kailangan ng patunay na may pera siya, hindi niya kailangan yung patunay na sikat na siya or whatever. Kailangan niya lang patunayan na, "Hindi, seryoso talaga ako. Gusto ko talagang tumakbo." 'Di ba? So, ah, the law, sabi ng Supreme Court, the law nor the election rules requires membership in a political party or popularity. Okay? So, do'n sa pangatlong Marquez case, sabi ng Supreme Court, hindi puwedeng sabihin na just because hindi kilala 'yang taong 'yan, ay magiging nuisance candidate 'yan, right? And so, 'yan ngayon ang guidance ng COMELEC. Using this jurisprudence, COMELEC will have to look at all of the filings for COCs and say kung sino diyan ang puwedeng ituring na lehitimong kandidato. Ulitin ko, anong hindi puwedeng gawin ng COMELEC? Number one, hindi niya puwedeng sabihin na kung walang pera, hindi puwede maging kandidato. Number two, hindi niya rin puwedeng sabihin na just because hindi sikat, hindi puwedeng maging lehitimong kandidato, okey? So, ayon sa mga desisyon ng Korte Suprema, kahit wala kang mapakitang pera, eh, the same decision was actually reached in the Alban, no? Another case, again involving nuisance candidates. Sabi ng Korte Suprema, there are no property requirements for running for office. So, kahit na hindi ka mayaman, kahit wala kang mapakitang source of income, pwede kang tumakbo as long as mapakita mo na seryoso ka. So, in practical application, ano ngayon ang pagbabasihan ng COMELEC diyan? Eh, di siyempre yung mga plano mo, right? Kung mga plano mo, that's one way of determining kung may bona fide intention to run for office, right? There are some people kasi who honestly will say na, "Oh, 'pag ako nanalo, ililipat ko yung, ano, yung seat of power ng ganito sa ganyan, sa ganyan, ganyan. Kasi kailangan ko magkaroon ng magandang negosyo sa aming area." Parang, "Ha? Okay, so parang hindi pala yung legislation or hindi pala yung service ang habol mo, hindi ka pala wala ka palang intensyon na talagang, maging elected official, in the sense that what elected officials do. So 'yan, malamang matatanggal 'yan, manunuisance yung mga 'yan, 'no? Ang hindi puwede gawin ng COMELEC, eh, hindi niya puwede sabihin na hindi ka mayaman, nuisance ka. Hindi puwede sabihin ng COMELEC na hindi ka kilalang tao, therefore nuisance ka, right? And again, going back to Pamatong, the case of Pamatong. Si Pamatong is, I don't know if you remember him, he's dead now, God rest his soul. But he's the guy they called Spike Boy kasi nagkalat yan ng spikes, sa may EDSA malapit sa Ayala. So, the decision in the case of Spike Boy, Pamatong, Eli Pamatong, was that, yes, it is constitutionally sound or okay with the Constitution for the COMELEC to declare some candidates nuisance. Anyway, so the whole point of this long discussion about nuisance candidates is so that you guys are aware na, again, over the next month or so, COMELEC is hard at work figuring out kung sino yung magiging final na nasa list of candidates natin. And yung proseso na yan, eh, yung pag-weed out nila ng nuisance candidates, yan ang pinagkakaabalahan nila ngayon. Gusto ko rin i-point out, okay, gusto ko rin i-point out na marami sa mga tumatakbo ngayon, marami dun sa 184 na nag-file, ang papasok dun sa kategorya ng walang pera at hindi kilala. Marami sa kanila ang pasok dun. Again, like I said, my friend is actually one of them. Um, pero gayunpaman wala silang pera, wala silang hindi naman sila kilala, wala silang kasikatan, gayunpaman seryoso silang tumatakbo, okey? So, ang request lang guys is that kayo 'pag nakita niyo yung mga kandidatong yun, give them a chance, okay? What do I mean when I say give them a chance? Do I mean vote for them? No, not necessarily. Right? Right? You do whatever you please. But what I'm saying is, don't dismiss them out of hand. Okay? Wag natin silang itsipwera just because hindi natin kilala ang mga pangalan nila. Wag natin sila isantabi just because they kind of look funny or you've never heard of their names before or they're very clearly not as well financed as the other candidates. We owe it to ourselves as a functioning democracy to give everyone who runs for office a fair evaluation. Okay? Better to evaluate a potential candidate on the basis of merit, on the basis of whether or not meron silang gustong i-offer na matino sa Pilipinas, right? Rather than whether nare-recognize mo yung pangalan nila or meron silang perang pwedeng sunugin para sa halalan, 'di ba? So, alright. Now, so again, that's the nuisance candidates, guys. If you want to read my full article on that, it's on the Daily Guardian. Just search for the Daily Guardian on Google and you'll be taken to that page and you'll be able to find that article there. All right. So Okay. By the way, guys, you can hop on over to my Facebook. Sabihin ko lang sa inyo, you can hop on over to my Facebook or my YouTube channel, at Pipili Pinas. Yung sa Facebook naman, it's not the Facebook page of Pipili Pinas, it's my Facebook profile. You can find me on Facebook as James Jimenez. And puwede kayong mag-interact dun, 'no? Puwede kayong mag-comment, mag-react doon, et cetera. So try it out. Help me to get started on Facebook. If you're on TikTok now, puwede kayong pumunta sa Facebook at puwede niyong subukan manood from there. Puwede rin kayong manood from YouTube. I'm also live on YouTube. Okay. So yeah, let's give it a try. This is really just a live test. I just want to see how this thing works. For example, kung tinitingnan niyo yung Facebook na feed, makikita niyo medyo, 'di ba? I'll say it, medyo sleek siya, no? And that's because of the platform I'm using, no? Mga preset naman yung mga yan. So, okay, so may nagtanong. Bakit po kayo umalis sa Comelec? Kasi po ako ay merong tinatawag na CKD, okay, CKD, chronic kidney disease. At hindi ko mabibigay ang 100% ko sa trabaho sa Comelec dahil very stressful 'yan at kailangan ko naman, i-prioritize yung aking kalusugan, 'di ba? So, there you go. Sir, allowed po ba ngayon ang switching tulad ng ginawa ni Digong hanggang tapos na yung period for ano, for switching, tapos na yung period for, substitutions, if that's what you're asking. And, ang puwede na lang ngayon yung involuntary substitution. Ibig sabihin, kung yung kandidato namatay, siyempre puwede namang palitan 'yan kung siya ay may political party, definitely puwede siyang i-substitute. But yung voluntary substitution, nilimitahan na yung period na allowed yun. Ang pagkakaalam ko hanggang October 8 lang puwede magpalit-palit. Okay. Thank you, NV. Thank you. Sure naman. Although to be honest wala naman talagang gagaling na sa CKD 'no, tuloy-tuloy lang 'yan. Ang kailangan lang talaga, maano, ma-manage yung condition. Parang ano 'yan, parang diabetes 'yan. You don't really get better from it. You don't suddenly develop a new kidney from out of nowhere and then magaling ka na, hindi gano'n. Kinokontrol lang yung sitwasyon. But thank you Milan, thank you, I appreciate. Malaki na kinita sa Comelec. Kaya talaga. Eh, di sana nakapagpa-transplant na ako 'di ba tol? Okey. Tsaka hindi ako nag-resign, nag-retire ako, okey. Meron ng naghain sa Congress ang pag-postpone ng BSKE sa October. Posible po ba na ma-postpone? Yes, posibleng ma-postpone, pero ayon sa Supreme Court kailangan maganda at malinaw ang dahilan kung bakit ipo-postpone. Dapat yung pag-postpone ay talaga namang, mahalaga doon sa sinasabing purpose for postponement. Hindi puwedeng basta-basta lang, hindi puwedeng sabihin na, kasi pagod na ang tao sa election. These are not considered good reasons. And, in 2022 sabi ng Supreme Court, "Nope, that's wrong. Don't do that again." So, puwede bang ma-postpone? Yes, puwede. Pero mas mahirap na ngayon magpa-postpone ng BSKE. Yan, pareho pala kami ng mother ni AJ. AJ, best wishes to your mom. I hope she's managing it well. Ingat siya kamo ha. Bawas ang inom sa tubig. Okay, puwede ba ang party list? Wag. Alam mo yung party list, maganda rin naman 'yan kasi tingnan mo ha, kung walang party list ang puwede lang tumakbo ay yung mga politiko na nagre-represent ng mga distrito. Tama? Oh, tama 'yon. Okey, rhetorical question. So, ang 'pag walang party list, ang puwede lang tumakbo ay yung mga nagrerepresenta ng mga distrito nila. So, ibig sabihin yung mga politiko sa mga lugar na ganyan, meron silang meron silang monopoly sa pagtakbo. Kasi siyempre, nakita naman natin 'yan, I think throughout history 'no, na kapag ang isang tao na nakaupo sa puwesto, gagawin niya lahat para ma-maintain yung hawak niya sa puwesto at kung hindi man siya personally, then yung mga pamilya niya, right? Again, to maintain their hold on power. And that's like goodness, from the time that Cory took over the government in 1986 hanggang ngayon, hindi ba karamihan ng mga major political families ngayon ay mga nilagay lang ni Cory na mga OIC noon? Hindi naman sila talagang halal dati, OIC lang sila, pero dahil nakaupo na sila, hindi na nila binitawan, and election after election, they would still, regain or, maintain control of power. So, hindi nagbabago 'yan, right? So, kung walang party list, 'yan at 'yan din lang ang puwedeng tumakbo, okey. Ano ngayon ang nirerepresenta nila? Let's be honest about this and you tell me, nirerepresenta ba nila lahat ng interes ng lahat ng Pilipino? Ako ang personal na sagot, you might have a different answer, pero ako ang personal sagot ko, again, from practical experience, most of these people, they will represent the interests of their constituencies but no one else, right? Certainly not to the same priority as their constituencies. And that's being generous, right? In many cases, they don't even represent the interests of all their constituents, just the people who voted for them. Oh, so can you imagine, kung walang party list, ang pwede lang tumakbo ay yung mga nandun sa mga may poder na, and sino ngayon ang nire-represent ng mga may poder? Yung mga tao ba na hindi pasok doon sa mga hindi sumusuporta dun sa nakaupo, yung mga tao na hindi tiga doon sa siyudad o distrito nung nakaupo, narerepresenta ba sila? Okey? Sabihin mo, eh, di dun sila magparepresenta dun sa kanilang representative dun sa distrito kung saan sila nakatira. Eh, what if doon sa distrito kung saan sila nakatira, hindi sila supporter nung nakaupo? O sino na ngayon mangangalaga sa kanila? Sino na ngayon ang magsusulong ng kanilang mga interes, right? And then, so that's one problem. Hindi lahat ng tao narerepresenta ng district representatives natin. And even those who are within their same districts, hindi lahat yan pantay-pantay na nare-represent ng ating mga elected representatives. Okay? That's the reality we have to face. We want it to be better. Obviously, we want every elected person to represent all of the electorate, not just the people who voted for them. But again, the reality is very different. All right. That's the one thing. The second thing is the world, yung mundo has become more complex. It has become more complicated. Mas marami na ngayong nag exist na community. Dati, pag sinabi nating community, ang tinutukoy natin siyempre yung sa Tagalog, komunidad natin, yung pamayanan natin 'no, yung village natin, barangay natin, yung siyudad natin, finally yung bansa natin. But there are other communities now na tumatawid-tawid sa mga geographical boundaries. For example, just an example, kunwari, ikaw ay construction worker, right? Construction worker ka. Meron kang kaparehong interest ng ibang construction worker, right? Kahit na hindi kayo magkabarangay. So, si construction worker na taga-barangay A, gusto niya merong safety precautions yung kanyang pinagtatrabahuan na construction site, okay? Si construction worker na taga-barangay B, gano'n din. May gano'ng concerns din, even though hindi sila magkabarangay, right? And if they're working on the same job site in barangay C, ay sino magre-represent sa kanila? Diyan pumapasok ang party list. Ang party list ay nagrerepresenta sa mga communities na ganyan. Yung mga kakaibang communities na hindi nagtutugma sa geographical divisions, right? So, andiyan ngayon yung iba't ibang mga grupo. So, meron kang mga construction workers, meron kang mga security guard, meron kang mga doktor, meron kang mga teacher, meron kang mga government workers. So, sino nagre-represent sa kanila since they're all over the place, right? Wala. Kung walang party list, wala ngayong grupo na makakalahok sa legislation, na makakalahok sa pamamalakad ng bayan na magrerepresenta sa kanilang mga interes. Kaya mahalaga ho yung party list. Yung party list, yan yung nagbubuo-buo, nagbubuklod-buklod ng mga iba't ibang grupo na yan na may magkakaparehong interes, na may pagkakaparehong pangangailangan na hindi naman narerepresenta ng kumpleto ng mga district representatives. Again, not to knock the district representative, but the fact is, ang dami naman nilang ginagawa talaga, right? They're not just representing the interest, for example, of their individual constituencies. They're also talking about like budget matters. They're talking about how a city can survive, etc. Ang dami nilang aalalahanin. So, in that situation, hindi mo talaga matututukan lahat ng nangangailangan. And that's what the party list does. The party list gives a voice, nagbibigay ng boses at representasyon sa Kongreso para dun sa mga tao na hindi naman talaga nire-represent ng mga district representatives nila. Sabi ng iba, eh dati naman wala yan. Oo, totoo. Dati naman wala yan. Pero hindi ibig sabihin, hindi siya kailangan noon. It's just that wala siya nun. Right? Parang ano yan eh. Parang ah, may need pero hindi nagagampanan. Gano'n ang sitwasyon nun 'no. So, kahit walang party list dati, hindi ibig sabihin okey lang na mawala ang party list. In fact, kailangan, panatilihin natin yung party list. Kung may reklamo tayo sa party list, pagalingin natin, pagandahin natin yung party list, 'di ba? Sir, baka puwede naman ibatas na dapat pasado ng civil service ang mga kakandidato at kung at hindi kung sino-sino na lang. Well, ah, disagree ako diyan. Allowed ba yung mga barangay official na sumapi sa isang partido? Yes, sir. When we say that the barangay elections are non-partisan, ibig sabihin hindi puwedeng magpatakbo na mag-ano, 'di ba, magkampi-kampi ang mga tumatakbo diyan 'no. Hindi sila puwedeng magdala ng kahit anong political party, pero they can be part of a political party. Okay. Right, thank you. Bakit ka di agree? Ikaw, pasado ka ba? Okey, sino 'to? Cebu okey, hindi ako agree, okey, hindi ako agree kasi ang karapatan ng Pilipino to vote and be voted for ay part yan ng constitutional guarantee natin. Lahat ng Pilipino as long as hindi sila disqualified, puwede silang tumakbo ng wala ng karagdagang requirements, okey? Let's look at one requirement in particular, education for example. Ang education ba ay available sa lahat ng tao? Meron kang free education, meron kang free high school, free elementary, free high school. In some cases, makakakuha ka ng college ng libre, pero hindi yan totally free. So, especially if you're looking at advanced degrees, usually hinahanap ng mga tao advanced degrees, okay? So, property requirement, right? Property requirement 'yan. So, hindi 'yan puwede sa Constitution. Kasi hindi ka puwedeng mapagbawalan na pagtakbo just because wala kang pera, okey. Okey, sabihin natin kung ang sinasabi mo ay civil service eligibility, okey. Ah, ang civil service eligibility is, as far as I know, it is not part of the requirements in the Constitution, right? Ngayon, kung gusto mo isama 'yan as a requirement to running for office, you're actually going to need a constitutional amendment for that, right? So, to answer your question, pasado ba ako sa civil service? Yes, I am a career civil service executive, which means I am actually, several levels higher than just a civil service passer. Okay, so there you go. But still, disagree pa rin ako. Ang goal natin sa isang demokrasya should be to increase democratic space. Ibig sabihin, palawakin natin yung espasyo para mas marami ang makalahok, para mas malawak yung choices natin kung sinong puwedeng tumakbo. Kasi kung liliitan mo 'yan, okey, kung sasabihin mo ililimitahan mo lang sa iilang tao ang puwede tumakbo, eh, di eventually magiging monopolya nila 'yan. 'Di ba? Magiging monopolya nila 'yan, and then mawawalan ka na ngayon ng choice. So 'pag merong umusbong na magaling na leader na hindi pasok dun sa criteria sa original criteria mo, paano ka na lang? Saan ka kukuha ng panibagong leader, right? What if ang matitira na lang choices mo kasi pumasa sila, eh, lahat mandarambong pala, paano ka na? Paano ng lipunan? So hindi puwede. So what you really need is more choice, more freedom to choose, 'di ba? Well, ayan 'no, sabi nung isa, tama si AJB, "The goal for democracy is to open up the market for everyone who can serve with integrity." Ito sabi ni very interesting, sabi ni Impol, "Babaan na lang ang sahod ng mga nasa posisyon para malaman kung sinong may malasakit." Okay, iba naman ang sinabi ni Lee Kuan Yew. I know a lot of you guys love Lee Kuan Yew. A lot of you guys are like so idolize Lee Kuan Yew because of what he did to Singapore. Well, then this is very interesting for you. That's exactly the opposite of what Lee Kuan Yew said. 'Di ba? Sabi ni Lee Kuan Yew, well, several decisions. The first, sabi niya, we should all speak English. Okay? Number two, sabi niya, taasan natin ang sweldo ng ating civil servants. Sabi nung isa kasi hindi ko nakita kung sino nagsulat, pero sabi niya, "Babaan natin para malaman natin kung sinong malasakit." Dude, 'wag kang aasa sa malasakit ng mga tao, 'di ba? Umasa ka sa kagustuhan nilang, mag-provide sa kanilang pamilya. Umasa ka dun sa kagustuhan nilang magkaroon ng pera, right? So sabi ni Lee Kuan Yew, it's more practical to think of it that way. Sabi ni Lee Kuan Yew, "Isa natin ang sweldo ng civil servants." Para mag-serve sila ng mabuti kasi matatakot sila na 'pag nawala yung trabaho, mawawala yung pera, 'di ba? Mawawala yung magtatrabaho sila ng mabuti para ma-maintain nila yung posisyon nila kasi nga maganda bayad. Pangalawa, matatakot silang maging korap kasi 'pag nahuli sila sa corruption, yung penalty, eh, one of those is to remove the salary from them. Oh, so sabi ni Lee Kuan Yew, "Wag nating tipirin ang sweldo ng civil servants natin. Bagkus taasan natin. Let's make government work financially rewarding for these people. That way we'll attract the best. We will attract the brightest." Kasi kung babaliktarin mo yung equation, bababaan mo yung sweldo, supposedly to test their malasakit, well, you're not gonna get the best. Because the best will be following the sweldo elsewhere, right? So, something to think about, right? Sabi ni Impol, hindi daw yan applicable dito sa Pinas. Paano po yan? Masyado ng greedy ang mga nasa posisyon. Tama, tama. Because the other part of that equation is to increase the ability of government to detect and punish corruption. Bigyan mo ng malaking sweldo para well compensated, best and brightest ang maa-attract mo. But at the same time, make sure that it is very strict in its enforcement of anti-corruption laws, right? So, I have to admit, sa Pilipinas, it seems hopeless, right? Kasi matagal na pabayaan, eh, matagal na pabayaan, and let's be honest about it. So, yun ang kailangang gawin. If you're going to make any sort of headway against corruption, the first thing you should do is you should improve the way these anti-corruption laws are enforced. Make sure that the judges are clean. Make sure that they rule on the basis of evidence rather than on promises of fear or favor, right? Make sure na straight lahat. And pag nakita ng mga tao na delikado maging korap kasi mahuhuli ka at mapaparusahan ka, bababa ang corruption. Is there a legit program for voters education in our country? As far as I know, right now, no. Yung mga taga-COMELEC dito, maybe they can answer that. Meron ba? Meron ba kayong legit program for voter education? Attorney, pwede po ba mag-issue ng persona non grata ang barangay chair based on the personal business ng tao? Um, wala naman kasing rule on ano eh, on declaring someone unwelcome or persona non grata. That's just parang propaganda lang talaga yan eh. Wala namang legal force and effect yan. Sinasabi parang actually parang resolution nga lang yan eh. Declaring na kaming mga taga-barangay Uno, hindi kami masaya kay Arnaldo whatever. And therefore, persona non grata siya dito, hindi siya pwedeng pumasok sa barangay natin. Again, that's just a resolution. It's really political. It's a matter of propaganda. So, walang rules dyan, walang bawal, pwede nilang gawin yan. Pwede ba i-revise ang ng mga mambabatas ang qualification para maging politician? Hindi po pwedeng i-revise ng mga mambabatas kasi kung gusto natin magpasok ng bagong requirements, kailangan idaan yan through constitutional amendment. Yun. Guys, please follow me on TikTok, follow me on Facebook, follow me on YouTube. I mean, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are airing this live test on three different platforms. We're airing it on YouTube and Facebook sabay. And at the same time, nakabukas yung aking TikTok, so nagla-live din ako doon. But that's on a separate device and on a separate channel. Pero, we've set it up so that it looks like I'm talking to one audience. And I am. I think I'm talking to all of you. Sabay-sabay din naman. So guys, please, if you like this sort of content, please don't hesitate to hit like. It really helps. Please, on TikTok, tap lang to like it. I think umabot na tayo ng marami-raming likes, and congratulations to everyone who did that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. And paki-follow po tayo sa Facebook and paki-subscribe na lang sa YouTube so that we can reach more people. Okay, may nag-comment daw sa Facebook. Kaso hindi ko kita. Let's anong sabi? Anong sabi sa Facebook? I have not yet connected the comments of my Facebook. So, punta tayo ng Facebook ngayon, check natin. Sana lang wag magka-feedback. Okay, let's see. May comment daw sa Facebook, sagutin natin. Ayan, meron daw. Oh, hi, Megsi. Perhaps you can do modules on PH election process. Yes, and more materials to educate middle school students. Good evening, Samuel Ormeliosa. Okay, as early as possible before they become 18 years old. These are very good ideas, Megsi. Why don't you come to Manila and let's talk about it? Let's get something done. Okay? Yay! Thank you, Megsi. Thank you. That's wonderful. Okay, so ayun, my comments on Facebook. Great. So shout out to everyone who's watching on Facebook as well. And thank you for joining me. This is not, I would not say that this is like derechahang voter education. This is more like you know, more like the way I think education happens nowadays. Kasi siyempre iba na rin ang mundo ngayon, no? Dati nung una ako pumasok sa COMELEC, 'pag sinabi mong voter education, ang talagang gagawin, merong tatayo sa harapan ng mga estudyante at magdadaldal for an hour or two, tapos na. You have been voter educated. But I don't think that works that way anymore, especially with the arrival and then the upsurge of social media. I think education should be done this way on social media, number one, and number two, in a way that is more organic. The way that really addresses yung mga tanong ng mga tao rather than going through a list of information that you just talk to people about, right? All right, Megzi, see you soon. Yes, ang daming misinformation ngayon kaya nga tayo mag-aano mo, magpipili Pinas and hopefully maka-subscribe kayo para balik-balikan niyo ako. Malapit na tayo mag-launch, yung talagang launch for sure ha. Kasi right now, again, ito nga, live test nga lang 'to, eh. Just to prove the fact na talagang kaya niya mag-broadcast ng dalawang sabay. Um, this is all DIY, by the way. I'm just doing this by myself, so pasensya na kung may mga lapses tayo. But, I'll be glad for you to keep me company, throughout this journey. And, nagsisimula pa lang tayo sa campaign season, sa election season, I should say. And, marami pa tayong pag-uusapan sa mga darating na araw. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. And I hope you have a great rest of the night. And then I will see you soon. We will have probably two more live tests. Um, but if we're able to sort everything out sooner, then we will be able to announce a full launch very soon. Hopefully within the month of October dahil nandito naman yung action sa buwan na 'to, no? And just to keep you interested, I guess, I'd like to tell you also that I am drawing up a list of 12 possible candidates for senator that I am going to interview, right? That I'm going to interview, and we're gonna get them on this channel, and then tatanungin natin sila. Now, what sets this apart from other interviews is that ang mag-i-interview dito kayo, okay? Yung mga tanong ninyo ang itatanong ko doon sa mga bisita natin. Alright? So, thank you very much and good night everyone.